his father-in-law on the day of the wedding, or near it. Not just you remember that.
Thanks, Mr. Webb. Thank you, Mrs. Webb. Thanks very much. Now, I have to interrupt you again. You see, we want to know how all this began. This wedding, this plan to spend a lifetime together. I'm awfully interested in how big things like that begin. You know how it is. You're 21 or 22, then suddenly you're 70. You've been a lawyer for 50 years, and you've eaten over 50,000 meals with that white-headed woman by your side. How do such things begin? George and Emily are going to show you now the conversation they first had when they knew that as the saying goes, they were meant for one another. But before they do that, I want you to try and remember something for me. I want you to remember the days when you were first in love, and when you were like a person sleepwalking and you didn't quite see the street you were in and you didn't quite hear everything that was said to you. You're just a little bit crazy. Will you remember that for me? Well, it's 3 o'clock, so they'll be coming out of high school at any minute. George has just been elected president of his class, and as it's June, that means he'll be president all through next year. And Emily, well, she's just been elected treasurer and secretary. I don't have to tell you how important that is.
I can't, Louise. I've got to go home and help my mother. I promise. Oh, Ernestine, can you come over tomorrow night and do Latin? Isn't that Cicero the worst thing? Tell your mother you have to. Goodbye. Oh, goodbye, Helen. Bye, friend.
Can I carry a books home for you, Emily?
Why, thank you. It isn't far.
Excuse me a minute. Say, Bob, if I'm late, start practice anyway, and give her some long high ones. I'm awfully glad you're elected too, Emily.
Thank you.
Emily, why are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you.
You've been treating me so funny lately.
Well, since you asked me, I might as well say it right out, George.
Oh, goodbye, Miss Corcoran.
Bye, Miss Bob. What is it?
Well, I don't like the whole change that's come over you in the last year. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I've got to tell the truth and shame the devil.
Change? What do you mean?
Well, up to a year ago, I used to like you a lot. And I used to watch you as you did everything, because we'd been friends so long. And then you began spending all your time at baseball, and you never stopped to speak to anybody anymore, not even to your own family you didn't. And George, it's a fact. You've got awful conceited and stuck up, and all the girls say so. They may not say so to your face, but that's what they say about you behind your back. And it hurts me to hear them say it, but I've got to agree with them a little. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I can't be sorry that I said it.
I'm glad you said it. I didn't know such a thing was happening to me. I guess it's hard for a fellow not to have faults creeping into his character.
Well, I always expect a man to be perfect, and I think he should be.
I don't think it's possible to be perfect, Emily.
Well, my father is, and as far as I can see, your father is. There's no reason on earth why you shouldn't be too.
Well, I feel it's the other way around, that men are naturally bright, but girls are.
Well, you might as well know right now that I'm not perfect. It's not as easy for a girl to be as perfect as a man, because we girls are more nervous. Oh, I'm sorry I said all that about you. I don't know what made me
Emily.
say it. No, now I can see that it's not the truth at all. I suddenly feel it isn't very important anyway.
Emily, do you want me to buy you an ice cream soda or something before you go home?
Thank you, I would.
Oh, Stu, how are you? Good afternoon, Mrs. Slocum.
Well, hello, George. Hello, Emily. Well, Emily, what are you all upset about?
She just got an awful scare, Mr. Morgan. She almost got hit by that hardware store wagon. Everybody says that Tom Huckins drives like a crazy man.
You look all shook up, Emily. I want you to take a drink of water, okay? I gotta tell you, you gotta look both ways these days way across Main Street. It just gets worse every year. There you go, Emily. Now, what would you have?
I'll have a strawberry frosted. Thank you, Miss
Emily,
Morgan.
have an ice cream soda with me. 2 strawberry ice cream sodas. Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
2 strawberry ice cream sodas? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, did you know State Inspector was in here yesterday, and he said there are 125 horses this minute that Oh, chilling. Sorry. Why, yes, Miss Ellis. What can I do for you?
They're so expensive.
Don't think of that. You're celebrating all that. Do you know what else I'm celebrating?
No.
I'm celebrating because I have a friend who tells me all the things that ought to be told me.
George, please don't think of that. It's not
No,
true.
Emily, you stick to it. I'm glad you spoke to me like you did, but you'll see. I'm going to make a change so quick. You bet I'm going to change. And Emily, I want to ask you a favor.
Yes?
If I go away to agriculture college for a year, would you be able to write me a letter once in a while?
I certainly will. Certainly will, George. It certainly seems like being away so long you get out of touch with things. Maybe letters from Grover's Corners wouldn't be so interesting after a while. Grover's Corners isn't a very important place when you think of all New Hampshire, but I think it's a very nice town.
The day wouldn't come when I wouldn't want to know everything that's happening here, Emily. I know that's true.
Well, I'll try to make my letters interesting.
You know, Emily, whenever I meet a farmer, I always ask him if he thinks it's important to go to college to be a good farmer.
Why, George?
Some of it would say it's a waste of time. You can get all those things in the pamphlets the government sends out anyway. And Uncle Luke's getting old. He's about ready for me to start taking over tomorrow if I could.
My.
And like you say, being gone all that time, in other towns, meeting other people, gosh, if any of that would have happened, I don't want to go away. I guess new people aren't any better than old ones. I bet they almost never are.
But George, maybe it's very important for you to go and learn all that cattle judging and soils and those things. Of course, I don't know.
Emily, I'm going to make up my mind right now. I won't go. I'll tell Pa tonight.
George, I don't see why you have to decide right now. It's a whole year away.
Emily, when you spoke to me like you did about that fault in my character, what you said was right, but there was one thing wrong in it. And that's when you said I wasn't noticing other people. And you, for instance, you were always one of the chief people I thought about. I always made sure where you were sitting on the bleachers and who you were with. And for 3 days now, I've been trying to walk home with you, but yesterday I saw you walk home with Miss Corker.
George, that's awful funny. Well, how could I have known that?
Emily, I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to agriculture school. I feel once you found a person you're fond of, and I mean a